We all know the job market is hard right now, especially the tech job market. And so in this video, I just want to talk about some things that I see people doing that are probably not beneficial in your job search in 2024, and some things that I would just recommend, or what I would be doing basically if I was looking for a job right at this moment in this current economy and job market. Um, so obviously, I think the first thing is that people are applying for jobs kind of in bulk, which is what everybody is doing, right? And I think that that's probably the wrong approach, or an outdated approach is probably a better way of putting it, to job seeking in 2024, especially in tech, because obviously we all know that these jobs are getting hundreds, if not thousands, of resumes probably per day, like at big companies or really popular jobs, or even maybe not so popular jobs, but a lot of people are out here looking. And so, you know, people are getting flooded. These companies are getting flooded with applications online. And so whether they use an ATS tracking system or they don't, because I've seen some videos of tech recruiters saying that they've never used the ATS system, which I think a lot of people think that they're not getting interviewed because their resume is getting filtered out by an ATS system. But if that's not the case, because I'm sure there's a mixture of both. Like some companies probably use them, some companies don't. But either way, with that huge of a volume of people applying, right, it's just going to be tough to stand out regardless. Whether you use keyword optimization, whether you are making sure you apply within the first 24 hours of the job being posted. I think all of those things are still going to be it's still going to make it challenging for your specific resume to stand out in a pool of hundreds or thousands of resumes. So I think that's a mistake I see people making today, is just thinking that like applying for jobs online is enough. That, hey, I've applied for 100 jobs or 200 jobs, and you see people online saying they're getting frustrated, with not getting any calls back, or not getting any interviews, or getting ghosted, and they've applied to so many jobs. But the reality is that I just don't think applying for jobs is enough in 2024. You have to get a lot more creative about how you stand out, obviously, and how you engage with these companies, or how you even get on their radar in the first place. So some things that I have heard recently that I thought were really cool is, basically pitching yourself to companies that you actually want to work for. Um, so I've heard of some people who were telling me that they have basically gone scouting in a way online to find, companies that they're really interested in working for, do some research about the product, the service, whatever it is, the industry, and basically connect with people in those departments, or whether it's the hiring department, product or sales, or whatever department you're going to be working in, trying to find somebody in that department when they have a job opening, obviously, or they have something listed that lets you know that they could be looking for this role, and then reach out to them, connect with them, and basically just say, hey, this is what I like about your product, your service, or here's where I think I could fit in, or here's why I think my background would make me great for this. And basically just pitch yourself. And this would be specific to what type of job you're applying for, right? So if you're going for sales, you might talk about previous success you've had in the same niche at a different company with a different product, or why you think a certain thing about the product or service would make you the right person to sell it for them. Or if you're in product like me, you could go and find something within the app or within their website that you would want to address as a product person, and basically pitch that to them about why you think making this change would probably increase sales conversions or traffic to the website, or whatever it is. But just a use case basically of why you are qualified, but also would be interested in and good at working for this company in this capacity. I thought that was a great strategy that I heard some people share with me recently about how they were sort of more proactive about getting a job, and that worked out for them. Because again, you're doing something different than just applying for a job. So like, not to say that you shouldn't still apply. Like maybe you apply for a job and then you go do that as well, just to follow up, and then you can just remind them that, hey, I already applied for this position, and this is just you kind of going above and beyond. That's one thing. Or before you even apply to the job, you might want to go try something like that, just to see who reaches back out to you. what their level of interest is. Have they already filled the role? You know what I mean? So it depends on like how you want to do it and what order you want to do it in. But I just think that being proactive in that way is a great way to just get ahead of the curve and get out of that like endless pool of job applicants that again kind of gets lost in, never read, and just sort of looked over. So that's one thing, reaching out to the companies and the people at those companies and sort of pitching yourself, and why you'd be a good fit for a certain role. So that's one tip or one thing that I would be doing if I was looking for a job today, that I thought was great. I haven't done this personally myself, but I have heard people in my professional network kind of tell me that they've done this, they've had success with that. And again, I just think anything beats, like I said, mass applying and getting lost in a big, pile of resumes. So the other thing I was gonna say is, sort of like making lists of companies that you want to work for or people that you really want to reach out to. So I guess it's kind of related to number one, but I guess for me specifically, what I was thinking about was, for example, if I know I want to work at, a certain company, like let's say a Google, a Amazon, a Nike, Fortune 500, some huge company, and I don't know anybody personally at that company, um, you know, I would consider scraping somewhere like LinkedIn or, um, I think LinkedIn is probably the best place, that I'd be thinking of. But I would go scrape LinkedIn specifically for, um, either companies or people at those companies, probably both, that fit a certain criteria that I'm looking for, right? Um, so for companies, I know certain criteria in my mind that I'd be interested in. So I would go, either filter the jobs on LinkedIn to sort of match some of the benefits that I'm looking for and the company culture and the company size that I'm looking for, and then I would do the same thing for maybe people, right? So people who I'm interested in connecting with, have a certain job title, so they're probably like technical recruiters, and they're technical recruiters at this specific company, um, or they do something in, the HR department, right? So I probably have a couple different job titles in my mind that I know I want to connect with, and I want to start in a way like cold outreach with these people, but it's targeted cold outreach. You're not just, hitting up any random person from that company that you can find, but there is a reason to be reaching out to this specific person. But again, I think that's where having a great pitch comes in. And, separate from what I said in the first point, um, I think if I did this strategy, reaching out to people that I kind of like compiled a list of, like these technical recruiters, at Google or Amazon or, Meta or whatever, I would start out by just, maybe pitching a little bit of myself. So like a sentence or two, like nothing really too crazy. And then it'd be more of like, hey, is there anything, do you know of any roles? Do you have any roles that are either current or like upcoming that I might be a good fit for or something like that? And I think I would probably just try that and just see what type of conversation would that open up? Because of course you're not gonna get responses from everybody. So I'd be curious first, just like who do I even get responses from, and then what is their response, right? And then from there, like I said, you might have a way that you can turn that into sort of a more, like warm lead, just through communication, going back and forth. Maybe you set up a video call at some point to say a little bit more about yourself. And who knows, right? And I'm not saying again that I've done these myself, but these are just things that I think about when it comes to, when I am ready to get back out there looking for a job. Obviously, just applying for tons of jobs is not getting the job done for people today. And then of course, I guess I'll throw this one in there, if people aren't already doing this one, but this one's pretty common to me. But every job board or job listing website you use, during your job search, I would just highly recommend filtering the jobs down to the jobs that were posted in the last 24 hours, because again, since we're talking about so many applications per job, even within the last 24 hours, you'll typically find that like 100. It's not uncommon for 100 or more applications to be submitted for one job within a day. So anything beyond a day is probably decreasing your chances of getting viewed if you're not applying for that job within the first 24 hours that it's posted. So I know for sure LinkedIn has that feature, but um, on any other platform, whether it's Indeed, ZipRecruiter, Google.jobs.com, if you try to, use any job board, I would just highly recommend trying to filter down to like the most recently uploaded job applications and really try to apply within the first 24 hours and just make sure you are within that initial cohort of people because uh, it's just hard enough as it is, right? With the numbers game that we're talking about, how many people are applying for these jobs. So giving yourself the best bet also involves being one of the like first people to apply for that job. So that's just the third thing I guess I'll throw in there. But these are just some things that I think I see people do wrong or they don't do that would I think help them out a lot in a current day 2024 job search. And like I said, these are the things that I would be doing if I was out right now looking for a job. So just something to keep in mind. But I'm curious about what y'all's tips are. Let me know if you found these helpful. But in the comments, let me know what other tips would you add to this list if you're either currently looking or you recently had a job search that ended successfully for you, or yeah, just in general like things you've heard other people do that have helped them on their job search, specifically in tech. But yeah, but just in general though, job searching in general, tips y'all have, drop them in the comments. Let's talk about it. And if you don't know, my name is Darian. I'm a product manager, former startup founder, and software engineer. And that's pretty much all I talk about on this channel. So if you're into like tech, entrepreneurship, any of that stuff, go ahead and hit subscribe. Make sure you also check out the description box down below where I've got all my like free resources and everything. And I have a big announcement coming up soon with a new startup that I'm working on, y'all. And I'm like so excited to drop it and share it with you. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, I will catch y'all in the next video.